From your Revere TV studio on Broadway, it's the Revere Review.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Revere Review. I'm Ed DeVoe.
And I'm Debbie Pesca. This week, Mayor Dan Rizzo submitted his city budget proposals to the council in a late communication, which seems to have sent the council into a fury. After some arguing, composure was regained and the process moved on. The numbers in the budget show a 5.5% increase over last year, or $8 million. The total for the proposal is $154,060,170, with $68 million of that going to the public schools. Mayor Rizzo said the budget has increased largely in part to the typical budget busters like health insurance, pension obligation payments, and union negotiations that resulted in salary increases. The mayor also added that, in addition to the newly required funding to support positions previously funded by a grant. Those positions include 10 firefighters that were hired in 2011 on a federal grant. The city has agreed to keep those firefighters on the rolls at an extensive cost to the city. The city's budget must be amended and passed by July 1st and is usually submitted to the council in early May. The mayor detailed the new process the city is instituting for its budgeting process, a process that looks to start using performance indicators in the popular CityStat computer program. This is a work in progress, the mayor wrote in his letter to the council. My goal is to submit a budget in the future years that is in accordance with the guidelines of the Government Financial Office Association of America, and the city began this process last July. The council accepted the mayor's budget submission, and Council President Ira Novoselsky indicated they would begin budget hearings in the near future.
And a related issue, thanks to the Department of Justice consent decree, when the city was determined to be in violation of the Clean Water Act back in 2010, Revere's water and sewer rates have jumped another 6% for the coming fiscal year 2014, which begins on July 1st. Last Monday, the City Council approved a rate of $15.27 per cubic feet, accounting for roughly 6.19% increase for residents and 9.85% increase for commercial entities within the city. Municipalities in the MWA Water District and Sewer District carry the highest water and sewer rates in the world. Not the country, but the world.
The world?
The world.
Okay. Recently, Secretary of Housing and Economic Development Greg Bialecki visited Revere and spent an afternoon meeting with city officials and business owners to learn more about the city's economic development plans and goals. The visit began at the Wonderland Tea Station, where the mayor and Economic Development Director John Festa gave the secretary an overview of the Waterfront Square Development Project and other development plan for that area. During his review, John Festa noted that groundbreaking is scheduled this fall for two major projects in that area, a hotel and a 240-unit retail and residential complex. After the tour at the beachfront area and a brief meeting in the mayor's office, the mayor and Director Festa, accompanied by a number of area business owners, led the secretary on a tour of the Broadway Business District, where the secretary heard about the development and improvements underway in that area. During his tour, the secretary also met and talked with Broadway area business owners. At the end of the afternoon's tourings and meetings, a reception was held at the Volare restaurant on Broadway, where the secretary was able to have a number of informal discussions with the business area owners who attended and participated in the day's events. In his comments to the group, the secretary stated how excited he was to see the development taking place and noted that he and the governor had been and are continuing to work with Revere and other cities in the region to help promote their economic growth.
Last week, the half-size replica of the Vietnam War Memorial, known as the Wall That Heals, arrived in Revere and was on display for area residents throughout the weekend in the field behind the Beachmont VFW post. The wall arrived at the field last Wednesday and was led by a solemn procession of police and firefighters to the field, where a number of volunteers from area veterans organizations pitched in to unload and build the wall. Battling against the elements, the volunteers worked hard to overcome the challenges presented by a rain-soaked field and to erect the solemn tribute honoring all those who died during the Vietnam War. On Thursday evening, the rains fittingly held off long enough for the opening ceremonies to be completed. In his remarks, State Representative Hang Naughton made a point to note how much is owed to the Vietnam era veterans for the treatment and support that veterans receive today because of all they went through when they returned from Vietnam. He said, "The benefits we get now, the accolades we get now, the thank you for your service that we get now is because of you. You didn't get them when you should have gotten them. It was a national crime and a national tragedy." He went on to implore all veterans to tell their story, saying that it's not grandstanding when you tell your story. How else will young people know about the sacrifices that you have all made? The mayor, in his remarks about how important it is that we remember all of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service for this country, and to those who have survived the wars and live with the memories of those wars every day. Once again, to Nick Bua and all the members of the Wall Committee, you deserve a huge round of applause for all of your efforts to once again do the city of Revere and its veterans proud.
It was a very moving tribute.
It is, and as I said in the last thing, I've been to the Wall in Washington, D.C., and to see this one, the emotions are just the same. And I actually had some conversations with some of the veterans, during the erection of the Wall, and talked to a few. And in one very poignant moment with the veteran, he made a point to say, look, when you're talking to veterans, whether it's Vietnam or Afghanistan or Iraq, World War II, Korea, all of those veterans, make it a point to say thank you to them. It's not said enough, and particularly with the Vietnam era veterans, it wasn't said enough at all. But make it a point to, when you see a veteran, say thank you.
Absolutely. And getting back to some school news, Public School Superintendent Paul Dakin announced last week that the schools are pursuing a grant to put iPads in the hands of every student at Revere High School next year. The schools are requesting school council approval for a TELP contract in order to purchase 1,700 iPads before the end of this school year, so they will be outfitted and available for the students in August prior to the start of next school year. This year, students in the Freshman Academy were given iPads as a pilot program that ended up working very well. And speaking of iPads, the A.C. Wayland School is participating in a Big Lots to Give competition to win money so they can buy their students iPads. Participating schools were asked to submit a short video and a brief essay explaining why their school is in need of financial support. Videos will be posted online through July 7th for public voting. Winning schools will share $120,000 in cash prizes, including one $20,000 grand prize. Jamie Flynn, Wayland School's principal, first heard about the program from Dr. Dakin, and shortly thereafter the teachers got together to come up with a video idea and came right down here to Revere TV and shot the video. It was extremely fun, 5th grade teacher Lenore DeLegro said about the experience. Mrs. DeLegro said the iPads will help the students learn English on the Rosetta Stone program. It helps with science centers and adds a level of engagement and creativity to their curriculum. Currently, Wayland students in kindergarten and 1st grade have access to iPads, but not students in the 2nd to 5th grades. Here's where you come in. You can vote for the school of your choice 3 times a day until July 7th. There are 37 schools participating, and about 7 of them are in Massachusetts. The Susan B. Anthony School is also participating. So to vote for Revere, go to www.biglots.com/lots-to-give/vote and vote for the A.C. Wayland and the Susan B. Anthony School. We also have a clip of when the teachers came down here to Revere TV and made their video, so we have a little bit to show you on that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, as you have, number of us received emails from the Wayland School and teachers in the school system about this program and this vote, and I happened to see the video, and it's great, so please, let's view it.
Enjoy.
Take a trip back in time to a colonial day when the one-room schoolhouse was the only way. Using only a horn book, birch bark, and quill, teachers lectured for hours while students sat still. Information was limited, books far and few, lessons dictated by what the teacher knew. Each day by rote, the 3 R's were drilled, and though lessons were learned, creativity was nil.
Fast forward to the present, a new classroom scene, filled with textbooks, notebooks, and paper by the ream. more efficient than the past, but with a limited dream. Imagination was valued, but needed more steam. The information highway had many pitfalls. Encyclopedias, card catalogs, and periodicals filled shelves and walls. As teachers, as always, searched for ways to do more, technology surfaced that would open new doors.
Classroom inventions enhanced every lesson, but without current innovations, we're often left guessing. iPads for students would truly pave the way, leading to infinite possibilities each and every day. A tablet in the hands of a student is a key to success. As they strive to explore our worlds, they deserve nothing less. On a virtual field trip, please help us embark upon the information highway where we will leave an impressive mark.
A proposal to introduce a slew of electronic billboards around the state has stalled following stiff opposition from former Governor Michael Dukakis and Mayors Tom Menino of Boston and Joe Curtatone of Somerville, who say they will ramp up their efforts to keep local billboards from going digital. Locations for 7 of 18 proposed electronic billboards were slated to come up for approval at a May 9th meeting of the Department of Transportation's Office of Outdoor Advertising. But Richard Davey, the state's transportation secretary, pulled the item from the agenda before the meeting. All 7 billboards were to be in Boston. Dukakis and the mayors are angry that the municipal leaders have not been consulted about the siting of the bright digital signs sought by Clear Channel Communications, and because communities would not have any say in their placement. The vote was postponed because local leaders had conveyed their ire to officials, according to Dukakis. Davies said he delayed the vote because he had his own questions about the deal. For the life of me, I don't understand why we need these in the Commonwealth, Dukakis said in a phone interview. He also said the T is hell-bent on becoming the state's primary visual polluter. Mayor Curtatone said there hasn't been any engagement or cooperation or collaboration with Somerville at all about the billboards. We should have some input. Davey, through a spokeswoman, maintained that his decision to postpone the vote had nothing to do with pressure from local leaders. The secretary has a great deal of respect and is fully aware of the former governor's position on billboards, said Sarah Lavoie, a spokeswoman. The two have had conversations in the past and have had a meeting scheduled for the next month on the topic. The secretary asked for the items to be removed from the agenda in order to satisfy his own outstanding questions regarding timetables and revenue. At issue is a contract the state signed last year with Clear Channel Communication, allowing the company to erect 18 digital signs around the state. The location of each must be approved by the Office of Outdoor Advertising. Whether and where to allow the billboards, digital or otherwise, is a decades-old battle in Massachusetts with many flare-ups over the years. In the 1970s and the 1980s, environmentalists argued that billboards created a visual pollution and detracted from the state's natural beauty. More recently, the advent of digital technology has brought concerns about billboard regulations to the head once again. The Transportation Department changed regulations to allow digital billboards as long as the images are not animated and the signs provide time for public service announcements. The Transportation Department is not scheduled to take up this issue in June, but could vote later this summer. Curtatone said he fears the billboards are part of a more general warming toward visual pollution that has been fought against for decades. Pretty soon, he said, you're going to be able to walk to Boston by just hopping the billboards on 93.
Design efforts on the new Hill School are wrapping up and will be presented to the public at a school committee meeting tomorrow night, June 18th. Superintendent Dakin said the building's design contains a lot of light colors and many windows. The outside will be red brick to match the surrounding Central Fire Station, City Hall, and the old McKinley School. The 3-story school will be shaped like an L with the long classroom wing running along Park Avenue towards Broadway. A main entrance will be located on Park Avenue across from Foster Street, where the current crosswalk is located. The cafeteria will be on the first floor with the gym and library on the second floor. The third floor will contain only classrooms. The cafeteria will feature large glass windows that overlook what will be the new stadium. The process is moving and moving rather quickly, Dakin said. And speaking of Hill Park on Park Avenue, named in memory of U.S. Sergeant James G. Hill, that place holds a special place in our hearts and minds of many Revere residents. Hill Park will soon be replaced by this new school, and before it does, Peter DiGiulio and Lenny Orlandello have planned a final and fitting tribute to the old field. That will take place this Saturday, June 22nd at 10:30 a.m. And I did have a chance to speak to Peter about the festivities planned, and we're going to show you that interview right now. Welcome, first of all.
Thank you, Deb.
And we're here to talk about the last at-bat at Farewell to Hill Park. And you have this coming up on June 22nd, Saturday, June 22nd at 10:30 in the morning. Tell me a little bit about it.
In the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Hill Park, as it says in the Journal every week, and I want to thank Deb DiGregorio and the Journal for getting that blurb in every single week. I mean, it's a half-a-page article. Revere was the mecca for softball. I mean, I know a lot of people think it's silly, but it was a way of life. When I was in my 20s and 30s, we spent every waking hour down at Hill Park. If we weren't playing, we were watching. And you formed so many friendships and enemies too, you know. I mean, and then we went into the over 40 league in the late 90s and the 2000s, and then it just kind of died in like 2005, 2006, and it was sad because first of all, most of us were too old to play anymore anyway. But softball died in the city, and then when they said they were going to take Hill Park to build a school. We realized, a lot of us older guys realized that we were losing part of our youth, you know, so I got together with Lenny Orlandello, who can't be here today, he's away, and we just mulled it over. Why don't we have one last game? We'll get a bunch of guys, maybe 18 guys, and we'll play one last game. And we'll probably break our legs and have heart attacks, but we'll play one last game there.
Station right behind.
Yes, exactly, we always did. Talk to Dr. Dakin and find out when he's gonna, you know, if we can do it this summer. And he said they're not gonna break ground until maybe the fall.
Okay.
So we decided that maybe we'd have something, you know. And we came up with a name, and we drew up a little advertisement for it. And Deb, I have to tell you, the response has been fantastic. Every place you turn, some guy my age is saying, hey, we're going to be there. You know, you see guys in the street, who's calling who's giving me shirts, and I'll show you a couple of shirts in a minute, because it was a way of life. And then it was part of your exercise, first of all. It was fierce competition, and then it was your social life, because back in the 60s and 70s, you used to go back to Victor's or to the,
Or
you know,
whatever bar sponsored you.
Sammy's, yeah. It started off as bars sponsoring teams, you know, Reardon's and the Dublin and the Moose, and then the Speakeasy a little bit later on. Down the beach there was Victor's, there was Sammy's, there was Eddie Mac's, there was, you know, all of those teams down there. So it has generated a lot of interest.
So what kind of activities are planned for that day?
Well, I spoke to one guy, and I'm not going to mention his name because I might embarrass him, but I told him what we were going to do. We're going to have everybody sign in when you get to the park. We're going to start about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning. I plan to hang shirts. If you want to bring a shirt that you still have shirts, we're going to hang them on hangers on the backstop. I have Joanna McKenna at the high school making a couple of banners for me that we're going to put on the backstop and on the outfield fence. And when you get there, there's going to be tables, and you can sign in your name, what team you played for, what years you played.
Okay.
And then you could take your glove and go out and shag balls with your friends, throw it in the outfield, and then when everybody's there, I have a bullhorn, my trusty bullhorn, you know, and I'm just going to introduce people. And I'm going to say, for example, Lenny Orlandella, Moose team, Speakeasy, 1960. Come take your last at bat at Hill Park.
Oh.
And they're going to go, and somebody's going to pitch to them, and there's going to be people in the field. And I told one guy this, and he actually like teared up and said, "Oh my God," because it meant so much to us. It was on television.
Well, there wasn't computers. It wasn't
That's
like
right,
it was,
exactly,
you know,
Deb.
it
There wasn't
this
250 cable channels.
Exactly.
You know? I mean,
exactly. That was your
that
entertainment.
was our
and that's your
entertainment. I mean, I
socializing.
know people think it's silly, but
Yeah.
you know something? It was very competitive. There were a lot of good athletes in this town, and now they're all, I mean, I'm 61, and there are a number of them that are older than me that want to have a home run derby. I'm looking forward to seeing that, you know, 4 75-year-old guys trying to have, that's fine. That's
okay.
fine, because it's fun. It's supposed to be, like it says in our flyer here, it's supposed to be camaraderie, some nostalgia, memories, and
So how do they sign up for this, Peter? Do they get in touch with you?
they can email me at pdegulio at revere.mec.edu. A lot of these flyers are hanging in stores, Tedeschi's. I put one at the post office, down Luberto's. But you can read the journal every week, and this flyer is in the journal. And
tell me about, in the article it says, be prepared to make a donation to the Revere Beach Memorial in memory of the youth of Revere.
I just thought that since I'm the drug teacher in the city, and I've been doing things, I haven't done anything with adults. I've been doing all kids activities, coaching and putting things together. And we've lost a lot of kids in the city to drug addiction and to overdoses on drugs. And there is a memorial now at Revere Beach. So I just thought that it would be fitting to, and some of the guys that played in this league have lost their children, more than one. You know, so I thought it would be fitting to put a jar out, you know, nothing formal, and if you want to put some money in the jar, you can put the donation of your choice, and we'll see if we can raise some money and build a memorial for these kids. I think their parents deserve it, I think these kids deserve it, and we just came up with the idea, and people stop me in the street and say, what if you did this? Now people want to make donations in memory of guys that played that died. You know, we have a number of guys that played that have passed on. So
this has taken a whole new life of its own. I mean,
it has.
You know,
it has.
Even though there's a school going up there, which is a great thing for the city. I mean, we needed the McKinley School more than anything, and we hate to see Hill Park go. There will be new parks.
Being a teacher,
maybe that we can do something in the new
I
park.
taught at the McKinley School today, and in all due respect, I love the McKinley School, but we need another building.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be state of the art, and it's going to be beautiful, and we'll be happy when it's built. But we're just going to give the old park one last shot of life on Saturday, June 22nd. Please, if you have a couple of minutes, you don't have to stay all day. Some guys say, I'm working, I'll stop by, get your at-bat in. We'll have a photographer there, maybe take some pictures of you guys. You know, and just to show you a couple of memories, this is an old shirt that you might remember, the old Moose shirt, okay? How idiotic, you put your name on the back of the shirt. I mean, we really went all out.
With those glue-on
and here's the pants. No, those actually were stitched on.
Oh, okay.
How about playing for a team called Alexander the Florist? Really intimidating, with a flower on the front of your uniform. Yeah. Okay, so, you know, here's the old Speakeasy Over 40 jersey. Guys have been giving me jerseys for the last 3 weeks. You know, I got this one when the old Houston Astros had the old rainbow shirts, Revere Federal Bank. Bring a shirt, bring your bat and glove, but most of all, as it says in our flyer, bring your memories, because you're going to see a lot of people that you made friends with and enemies with also. You know, those were fierce competitions for the City League Championship, and we'd like to see as many people as we can get there. Doesn't matter if you can play anymore, doesn't matter if you think you can hit it out of the park anymore, just come down and be part of it, and we'll go back 20 or 30 years and have a lot of fun. It
sounds like a great time. We'll look forward to it, and thank you, Peter. I think it's a fitting tribute to say goodbye this way to Hill Park.
Well, I think so. I think a lot of guys will really, really, really appreciate that we're doing this, you know, and I think it'll be fun. The only thing that would be a problem would be rain. You know, we don't have a rain date, but we're thinking about Sunday, the 23rd.
The next day.
Yeah, the next day. But we'll see. We're gonna try to do it like it's not like a game where you have to keep the base paths clear from water, even if it rains moderately, we can have everybody get up at bat.
Maybe we can get a 10th from somewhere.
Well, maybe we could, yeah, and then we, I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys are going to cover it, but if you do, I mean, you're going to meet a lot of characters with a lot of great nicknames.
I'm sure we'll be doing that. Thank you, Peter.
No, thank you very much,
Okay.
Deb, appreciate it. Revere
you.
TV, thank you very much for letting us do this.
Negotiators for Suffolk Downs walked out of a casino bargaining session with the City of Boston officials last week. And two sides, long considered allies in the gambling development, remain miles apart on how much money a casino at the East Boston track should pay the city, according to two people with knowledge of the negotiations. The pact is an essential part of the application process and must be completed at least 60 days before the casino proposal can go before the voters in a legally required referendum. Chip Tuttle, Suffolk Downs Chief Operating Officer, did not comment on the negotiators walking out of the session, but objected to any characterizations that the developers in the City of Boston are dramatically far from a deal. In his comments, he said Suffolk Downs has made a commitment to work closely with both Boston and Revere throughout this process, including many community meetings, traffic, environmental, and economic development studies, and weeks of host community meetings. He went on to say he will continue to meet with city officials to finish agreements that will serve the needs of the people of Boston. We've made substantial progress and look forward to continuing our work with the mayor and his team.
Over the past few months, we have had an intern here at Revere TV, Gavin McCauley from Ireland. And while he was here, our intern, Alana, was able to conduct an interview with him, and we wanted to share that interview with you.
Hi, my name is Alana Pasco. I'm an intern at Revere TV and a student at Revere High School, and we're back with the intern interview. And today we're here with Gavin McCauley, and we're going to talk a little bit about his intern experience here, all the way from
Ireland.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Gavin.
Well, I'm Gavin McCauley, and I'm from Ireland, a place called Lurgan in the north of Ireland, in County R.M.A, and I've just come over here on a course for 6 weeks to study media studies and work here at Revere TV.
Awesome. So is this your first time to America?
It is.
Have you been liking it?
Yeah,
Nice.
really a lot. Like,
What are some of the cool things you've seen or done around Boston?
well, like, been to a Red Sox game,
Oh, yeah.
and I was looking to go to a Bruins game, but I haven't get into the playoffs of the semi-final. The tickets were a bit hard to come by. But yeah, been to duck tours, been into the Common, tried to get a bit of nightlife in as much as I can. Prudential Building, just all the tourist attractions.
Very cool. So how did you end up here? Tell us a little bit about the program and the projects that you've been working on here.
Well, the program that I'm working on, or the program that I come from, is called Tyrone Donegal Partnerships Wider Horizons, and it just basically gets young people who's interested in media to come to America to work on like about 6 weeks on film studios I got in Revere TV. Some people's in different studios all around different places in Boston, and it's a 6-month program, and I think 20 weeks was in Ireland, and you studied there in Ireland, and you did like first aid, you did self-defense, you did hygiene, you did all different stuff, and then you did your media project. So all the stuff we learned, like editing skills, camera work back home in Ireland, you brought to here and just bring to the table in your media stations to hopefully bring back.
Awesome. So what specifically projects have you been working on at Revere TV?
Well, there's a show called the Veterans Corner, and it's hosted by Morse,
That's
and
right.
it basically I've vision mixed and edited about 10 of his shows, and did different like Revere Shines, the bike rides, the vigil for the Boston Marathon, and stuff like that. So it's been really good to get a hands-on sort of feel for it.
Nice. So where are you staying? You're staying in Revere?
Yeah, I'm staying in Revere, just up in Pemberton Street, which is pretty
cool.
close to here, because
Yeah.
I know with students in the past, they were living like away in Everett and Watertown, having to travel the whole way here, so I'm just a bus ride for 10 minutes and
Cool.
straight into work.
Nice. So what have you discovered? Anything new here? What have you learned in Revere?
Well, I realised Revere was, I couldn't get over the amount of Italian people that's actually living in Revere.
Yep.
See, I got an Italian family, and they were saying about, oh, you'll see them all about, but even if you hear people second names, they're just pure Italian, and And if you go around the beach, there's like loads of different cultures and different communities and stuff. So it's a cool place to live. Like.
Right. Yeah. I'm actually Italian too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So looking back on your past few weeks, did the trip meet your expectations? Was it? Do you like it?
Big time meet my expectations
Awesome.
because like the first like 2 months or 3 months we were in Ireland, it's just constant build up to go into Boston. So when you actually get, like we were getting vetted on information on what to do and what not to do, so you were like really schooled on like what it was going to be like. But when you're actually here, it's just far exceeds your expectations. Like I really love it, and
Right.
it really is class.
Awesome. So when you return to Ireland, are you going to continue to pursue media studies?
Well, that's the plan. See, this course goes for another 6 weeks, and we've planned out, we're doing like interviews and stuff now. We're going to put it into a half-an-hour package when we get back, and then we're going to work on a short film and actually properly produce and direct it for like about 2 months. So plan it out for like a month and then spend time on it, and then that would go into our portfolios. And a few of us is applying for universities, a few of us is applying for colleges, and so the colleges that I've applied for before, they were actually saying that you need to get experience and you need to get like that kick to actually get into the courses. And with this course here especially, it's the kick that you need to further career in media.
Yeah, definitely. I've had the same experience with my intern here, you know, learning about what to do next year in college and everything, getting that kick. So would you ever consider coming back to America or living here, visiting?
Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely. I've already looked into it with my host family and stuff,
wow.
so if I ever get the opportunity, I'll definitely be back over, because I've travelled, been to Australia and I've been different places around the world, but America's pretty distinct.
Right,
You know, it's unique, you know.
You like the culture here?
Yeah.
It's very different from Ireland, isn't it?
Oh, it's
or-
way different.
Yeah.
It's far faster.
What are some of the biggest differences and the difficulties you've had adjusting? What are
Well, I couldn't get over the transport system that you have, the
Yeah.
T and the buses, because
Right.
in Ireland, like, you either get a bus, like I can get a bus half across the country, and it takes like
Wow.
50 minutes.
What?
Yeah, so you can get anywhere pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
But
amazing.
this is like insane. Like, I get the blue line into Boston all the time, and then I get the orange line home, and it's pure, like, the way it's worked out, it's really good. Like the Charlie card system.
Oh, yeah.
Back in Ireland, we'd have to top it up every week. It was
Oh.
like £20 a week. So you just scan it. The Charlie card's just flawless, just in and out, away you go.
Right.
So it's really good. And the speed of the city, like everyone's just on the go, flat out. In Ireland's like
Oh, yeah.
just a wee bit slower than that. Like,
Yeah. Wow. So anything else you'd like to share with us today?
well, my time in Boston's coming to an end next week. So hopefully be able to tie up everything here, and when I get back to Ireland, my name will be on the credits of where I've worked here and all. So
Oh, right.
I'd love to come back and put my stamp on a few things. So,
Nice.
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with us today, Gavin, and thanks for tuning in to the intern interview. And my name is Alana Pasco, and thank you for watching.
Okay, we're back again, and you know, it was great having Gavin here, and it's always great having these interns and people from other countries come and spend some time with us, because you learn so much from them, and they learn so much from us as well. Yeah,
We really enjoyed having Gavin
yeah,
here.
it was great. He's a member of the family now. On another event, this past weekend, the Peter McCauley Plaza was dedicated down on the Revere Beach Boulevard. For those who are familiar with the developments going on down the beach, currently there is the new bridge, the Marquee Bridge that comes across from Wonderland Station to the beach. And when you come off that bridge and you walk across the boulevard, there's the old clock that's been standing on the beach for many years. That clock and the two pavilions on either side of the clock are now known as Peter McCauley Plaza. Great day. It was a great event. We have some footage from that, so we're going to show you that now.
Before we go to the unveiling ceremony, I just want to thank all of you for being here and participating in this great dedication. You know, I've had several members of the McCauley family come up to me and thank the city and thank our state delegation for putting this all together. But the way I feel, and I know I speak for probably all of you that are here today, the real thanks goes to them for what they gave us in Peter McCauley. So really, we all want to thank you. And with that, I'd like to now call the McCauley family over for the unveiling and dedication. 1, 2, 3.
In closing this week, the Rumney Marsh Academy will be holding a blood drive this Thursday, June 20th, at the school from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. This blood drive is in cooperation with the Red Cross, and it's to help replenish the available supply that was impacted by the Boston Marathon bombings in April. If you have any questions, please contact the coordinator of this event, R.M.A. Head Custodian D.D. Can at dcanngrevere.mec.edu. So come on, everybody, come on out to the school this Thursday and give blood.
Yeah, there's always a need for blood, and especially after the marathon bombings. I mean, you know, so much was needed then, and now we're coming on the summertime, and that's traditionally a time of short supply. So come out and help out with that effort.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that does it for us this week. For Deb and myself, we want to say
Take care.